Welcome back to the Property Power Couple with Colton and Haleigh, providing comfort and confidence to your real estate experience. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
What?
It's good to see you. So today we are talking about confidence. We are talking about the broker summit that we just got back from.
Yes.
We are talking about just kind of everything that we've taken away from it.
Mm-hmm.
You go to these things and you write down pages and pages. And I was just kind of looking back through
yeah.
like, dear Lord, I've got pages of stuff, and really pulling out those things that you want to make sure don't fall away.
Yeah.
Don't just get lost in the muck of it all. And so, as far as things that you don't want to go away.
Yeah.
What do you got?
If you don't, so we took a lot of notes, okay?
Yeah.
And one thing I'm saying is if you don't already do this, and I really encourage you to start doing it, an action item, a win list, whatever you want to call it, that is, you're taking all your notes and then you have a separate list of things that you want to make sure that you go implement as soon as you get back. My list for implementation was long. I have 3 pages of bullet points of it. So it was pretty long, and Colton has one too, I have one. And so what my goal as we get back into it, because we just got back 2 days ago, is going through this. We both reviewed some stuff on the plane. We both kind of read through our notes. We've talked about a bunch of stuff. And this action item, now I can delegate some of them out. I can make sure that we do them, that they don't lose. So when you're at these type of events, so we were at our NextHome Broker and Owner Summit, which was amazing. But when you're at any of these, whether it's an hour class, whether it's a day conference, multiple day conference, I really encourage you to have that action list, that win list, that's separate. So instead of just highlighting like crazy, because I have pages of notes. I mean, we're talking like 30 probably. And to go through all of those and find all those points and then make the list, it was easier to do the list while sitting there. Ooh, that's an action item.
Oh yeah.
I need to make sure I'm doing that. So it's always easier to do it while you're there. So definitely really encourage people to start doing that if they're not already. I know Steven gave us a list like that whenever we were at one of his breakout conferences, which was awesome. And then even like to Michael, he started saying, oh yeah, where's your win list? Where's your win list? But putting it in that sense of, here's my 30 pages of notes from all the content that is still, my brain is still tired from all the content that we got, to these are the things that I need to immediately go do. So that list is long. It's very long. Some of it is administratively things that I need to go update. Some of it is putting into practice right now. Some of it were things, ooh, did I ever finish that?
Yeah.
Made me remember something that I'm not sure I ever finished, and so on. But, major takeaways that I got, well, one, a little bit of validation, which is always amazing. We've been talking a lot about the settlement and the lawsuits and changes in real estate. We've been listening to James and Keith go through their podcast about what to expect, how to handle it, and how to move forward. And then we've been talking about it as a brokerage, as a team, me and you, as leadership. We've been talking about it a lot. So a little bit of validation there that we're doing the right things, which is great, right? Educate and validate.
Absolutely.
How many times did we say that? Thank you, Michael Ray Newman. I think we texted him and said, want to know how many times you've been quoted since you've been here? So a lot of validation came out of it, which is amazing. We've been talking about the right things. We've been pushing our agents to say the right things. That was big.
Absolutely, it was. And
even down to some of the little things, like, make sure you're out there, make sure you're getting in front of people. Don't stray away from the video content and all of that stuff, because things are changing and hard right now. So a little bit of validation there that we've been trying to stay on it.
It used to be that we would go into some of these meetings or these trainings and you'd hear people say, well, it's all about video, like you gotta do video, and if you're not doing video and you're not doing calls and mailers and this and that, you start seeing them all pile up, and it was like, God, we really need to do video. We really need to do this.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
And now I feel like every time we walk in, it's like, check.
Right, and it took a while. And it takes a while, right?
Yeah.
You start your career and you go to these conferences, and the list is like, how am I ever going to possibly achieve all of these things? How am I ever going to get to that level?
One bite at a time.
Yes, and over time, we've been able to go into a room and say, all right, cool, we are doing that. I can do it better. You just gave me some great tips and tricks to improve upon it. But okay, we are doing that. So that's taken time. So don't get discouraged if you're going, oh my God, how can I ever even get there? It just takes a little bit of time, but that was kind of cool. The other thing that was massive is just all the relationships that are sitting in that room from the different events that we have, the different trainings that we have, the different groups that NextHome just provides us opportunities to get connected with everybody. And then, you know, we sat down with our friends from Michigan, which was great. We were with Ben and Stephanie, and then Kim and Sean and us were all at a table together. So that was great because we got to hear how Michigan was handling it.
Right.
And even little bitty things that they were saying that we can absolutely implement, and vice versa. So that was really cool. I'm hearing questions from people from Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, all these different states having the same problems that we have. Okay, cool. So not everyone has it all together yet. Great.
I was just thinking about that lady from Florida telling us that she runs with scissors.
Florida's
And I was thinking, man, well, they probably have a few more problems than we do, but at least.
Right, but like even down to other owners, other leaders, other people saying, hey, I have a hard time handling this. I have a hard time with this. How are you handling it?
Right.
That's amazing, the impact that we can sit in that room with 400 different owners across the nation and realize, cool, you have the same problem. You already figured that out. How many people's card did they hand you your card and say, just email me whenever you get home? I will provide you the tool I use to get that solution solved.
I already have 4 emails for 4 different, like one's a video challenge deal, another one was a mailer and a farming thing. But exactly that point.
Yes, I mean, so many relationships, and then you see them again the next year, and they're like, hey, how is that thing going? The thing about the company that we chose to align with is they legitimately care about their people.
Well, and I'm naturally introverted. I know it's a shock, but it takes a significant amount of effort for me in those rooms and in those events to walk up and just start having conversations with people that I don't know.
Yeah.
And the easiest place on the face of the planet that I have found is NextHome Summit, NextHome Conference, because truthfully, all those people are there to go, oh, you're wearing orange? What's up, man? You're my guy. How's it going?
Even at the airport.
Yeah.
Even at the airport.
And you're like, hey, I see that. What's going on?
Hey, you're orange, we're orange. What's up? Yeah, so it does provide that culture, which is massive, and then lots of ways to bring that culture back into our office. Lots of ways to remember how we're doing it well, ways that we can improve upon it, and so on. And that was huge. Everyone there was willing to share something. Us to other people to us. It's really awesome to be able to be in that type of environment where people want to see you be successful also. It's not necessarily a competition, it's let's all grow together. And then we're across the whole nation, so I'm not necessarily Florida's competition. But everyone's willing to share and help each other grow. And they're not saying, and so that will be $1,000 for my idea, thank you.
Yeah.
It's, hey, let's collaborate.
Right.
And that was really cool. So that was a big takeaway that we got, was just those relationships are there. And sometimes the one-off conversations where, hey, let's go grab a drink, or let's go have some food, and let's, wrap out what's going on. Let's talk it out with these other professionals who are in the same boat as you.
Right.
It's invaluable to have those conversations.
Oh, absolutely.
So Cleveland was okay, but that part of it, the relationships and the conversations we got to have were priceless.
Absolutely, they were.
They really were.
The biggest thing that I took away was really the idea of focus, and specifically, we all need focus, right? But the things that I focus on are going to be the things that actually get the attention, obviously, and then are able to grow.
Yeah.
They play that video with the gorilla that walks in and the curtain changes colors, and we've all seen it. I had seen it a few times, and I still was like, I know something's going to change, and I was like, oh, there's a gorilla, and then I didn't get the curtain. Right. And I've seen it a few times, and so I'm thinking about everything that's going on in the market today in our lives. Professionally, personally, and the things that you focus on are the things that are going to get the water, that are going to grow. Yeah. And if we constantly are talking lawsuit and changes from this perspective of, oh my God, it's all, the world is ending, everything's 10 times harder, then the world will end and it will get 10 times harder. Right. Or you can go, well, these things are true and they exist, and I'm going to focus on my sphere, my people, my systems, and we're gonna grow and we're gonna do these things. Yeah, absolutely. They really harped on, like, guys, you're still the professional that everybody needs. So how can we take some stuff back to our agents, to our local communities, and share that? Yeah. Well, and he also, Nick Tassler,
He was great.
He was a good,
yeah.
He was a really good speaker. There were 2 points, and then we can go on. He talked a lot about change. He said that change is a loyal friend that shows up just in time to snatch ourselves from the joy of mediocrity. And then he said, it's a little wordy. I write books. Leave me alone. Like, piss off.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a cool thing that, hey, we always joke about the only consistent in our lives is change.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, we have consistently gotten better and better over time. And we're continuing to get better. We have not arrived. We never arrive. It's a journey. Yeah, thanks a lot, Michael. But like that's, that's the process. So I thought that was just a cool way of saying it. And the other thing that he said was that Newton, he discovered gravity from the falling apples. And he talks about how many times had he seen the apples fall, and it just never clicked. But it turns out that when he did see those fall, it was during the Great Plague, and there's thousands, millions of people dying, and this horrible time, and he's seeing these wonders come to life, and he ends up calling one of the worst times in history the Year of Wonders for him personally, because of the idea of where his focus was. And so I think while you can't ignore that there are things going on in the world, there are things happening all around us, where you focus matters.
Absolutely. And that was a big point. A lot of people kind of harped on that, whether it was from a retention standpoint or from a growth standpoint or whatever it was, knowing where your focus is. The other thing that we talked a lot about, we talked a lot about this, and I think it was mentioned throughout from almost all the speakers, is about your confidence and about, building your confidence, and, that yes, things are changing, so we're going to have to learn new things. We're going to have to re-practice things. Yeah. But those basics are still there. You need to be practicing. Sorry, microphone. You need to be practicing. You need to be understanding your new talk tracks. There's a lot of change that can shake your confidence.
Well, the 2 other things that we heard that I loved was that your doubts don't disqualify you. And I think that resonates with me. I go back and forth on it. I doubt its resonance with me, but it's okay to have doubts. It's okay to have questions. Yeah. That doesn't disqualify what you do, who you are, what you know. Yeah. You just got to be confident and find the answers and keep moving.
Absolutely. The most confident person in the room
Bingo.
is going to win.
Yep.
Right? We heard a lot about that from the stage. A lot of really good statistics and different things like that. Like, guess when people are still buying houses, interest rates, and we can see how that's going to project. But we saw a lot of really cool stats and information about how in the 80s, less people were using a real estate professional than today. All this technology, all this AI, all this stuff. And today, more people are using a real estate professional.
It's like 83 or 87%.
I think it was higher than that. I have the screenshot here somewhere, but it was like from maybe 60 to over 80. I mean, a significant amount more people are using the professional. People like the idea that it's right here, that they can ask, that they can look at all the pictures online, they can kind of see what's going on. But ultimately, they want guidance. People want a professional to help them get to the finish line. And that was a lot of people from stage talked about that, how, guys, just all this stuff is happening and people are concerned that people aren't going to get paid anymore or whatever it is. But look at the numbers. In the 80s, less people were using professionals than they are today.
Well, I think about it a lot, like how many times I've diagnosed myself with a disease via Google, right? I mean, like, how many times is that like, babe, I think it's here. I think this is happening.
Totally.
And what ends up happening? We go to a doctor, and the doctor's like, well, based on the data, you're an idiot, And in the same way, I think people find that data online, and then they need somebody to qualify and verify the information they got. And 9 times out of 10. It's not as close as they thought it was. No. There's going to be some sort of booger in the mix that messes it all up. Yes. And because real estate is so hyper-local, I really don't think the human aspect of that transaction is going away anytime soon. And if it were on the agent side, then so would the humanity of the actual people, the principals in the contract engaging in that swap. it would change, and it would not change for the better.
No, and I just think it's really interesting to see. We preach about it, and then like we got to see the numbers again. This whole conference is a little validating, which is amazing.
No, it's huge. Yeah.
Everyone was like, okay, great. So it was awesome. You know, talked a lot about open communication. Talked about being leaders within your community, not just within your brokerage. So making sure. That look is because I made him take allergy medicine this morning. I did not take any. A typical mom move. So, anyways, it was a lot of open communication, a lot of making sure that you are the leader in your community, not just in your brokerage, and how to prepare your people to move through. And the whole thing wasn't about the lawsuit, which is amazing. The whole thing was not just harped on that. There was a lot of that content and a lot of really great questions where we were able to hear from the best leaders in the industry, because I believe that we have those, you know,
absolutely,
and hear how they're handling it, and then how we should be handling it, which is great. But then also just a lot of really good stuff about, guys, it's okay, let's see what's happening here, let's look at this. And you know, it was a really cool time. If you don't go to conferences, you know, you really should. Sometimes you need that Kool-Aid, sometimes you need that boost. It was a hard time for us to go because we just got back from the cruise. We were with Kinley for a couple days and we were gone for a week. So there's never a perfect time to go better yourself, right? You're like, oh, well, maybe next year, whenever, you know, I'll have all this extra money, I can make it to a huge, awesome trip. It's like, or you just go to the conference. Like, just go. Just go get that content, because you're going to be better. And it doesn't matter how many times you're in the room and hear those little tidbits, it matters at that time.
No, so, it absolutely does.
You know, you might hear the same thing. Back to the basics, back to the basics, back to the basics. And then you hear it for the 100th time at some random event that you weren't expecting to get that from. You're like, oh my goodness, I need to do these basic things, right?
Well, one of the things I wrote down outside of focus, I wrote a lot of stuff, but was that I guess it's a proverb, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Right.
Kind of thing. Like,
you gotta get in the room.
But you gotta get in the room, you know, and you when you're ready, it will happen.
Yes.
But you got to commit to the process.
Yeah. So if you're not going to some of those, whether you're going to local, state, and so forth, you know, most companies have some kind of summit or conference that they offer to their professionals. You know, definitely worth going to. The relationships that you can build. Not to mention the across the states referral system that you can build out.
Oh yeah. Which
is amazing. We've been able to really harp on that too. But you know, it matters to get in that room. It matters to hear this stuff, to stay ahead of the game. You don't want to hear it from 4 podcasts later. You want to be the one that's learning it at the beginning. Yeah. So it was a really cool time. I think we enjoyed it. And next year we're going to Phoenix, so that will be fun.
Not Phoenix.
I don't know.
I don't know why.
But it'll be. I mean, I feel like the temperature is probably warm, but yeah, it will be. It will be good.
It's gonna be fun.
All right.
Well, thank you all so much. Check us out on all of our social media, btrgpm.com, Better Together Realty Group. Thanks. See you next time.
Thanks. Is it going? I yelled at you about taking medicine this morning. I should have taken some. Whew.
You didn't take any medicine?
No, I wasn't the problem.
If we could just put it on record somewhere, she yelled at me this morning when I was... Have you taken any medicine? I was like, no.
I don't think I sound like that.
And then she said, go take some Flonase.
I did.
And then I did.
How old did I get? Granny.
Well, when you speak to me in such a tone. Anyway,